Hello, this is the TradeSite US Stocks and Futures Market Preview for the week beginning Sunday, August 11th, 2024, ending Friday the 16th. This will be options expiration in August. Two most boring options expirations are usually July and August, but we've obviously had some excitement this week. We'll talk about that in a minute. Here's the dollar index daily chart. Shuddered a little bit this week, but didn't really do much. Here's the euro dollar, usually the inverse of the dollar index, didn't do much either. The pound didn't do much. ES front month futures contract, this is the daily chart of the broad market in futures form. And as you'll see when we look at the intraday, basically net nothing for the week, even though we had the big spike down on Monday on the market collapsing for an hour and the VIX spike. But the VIX spike we'll talk about because that's a big deal when you see it. So it is what it is. I mean, the VIX going that high is something special, and that usually causes a bottom in the market. So we'll see what happens. S&P cash, here's the cleaner look at that. No big deal. So basically for the whole week, if you look at those 5 candles that you see there, we're basically flat. Everybody thought the market was falling apart. The rumors of the economy's demise are greatly exaggerated, as I like to say. NASDAQ 100 closed exactly where it was. We'll look at that in a minute, but nothing special there. Russell 2000, about the same, a little lower for the week. Crude oil number, 76.84. So this was a big thing. Obviously, there's a mixed bag on crude oil because if it falls apart too much, it might signal weakness in the economy because nobody's going to use oil. The flip side is obviously you want enough supply that you keep the prices down, but at the same time, if it heads up too much and we've got wars going on, that's not great for the economy. This is what's causing the inflation, by the way, is the crude oil. It's nothing else. We'll look at Bitcoin now sitting at 60,076. It had dipped to 50,000 earlier in the week. So Bitcoin not being a champion of what's going on in the market. TLT, the 20-year bond ETF, heading back towards highs. Bonds up, rates down, as they say, and so the mortgage rates are hitting new lows. VIX, here's the VIX right here, right? So when the VIX gets over 40, that tends to be the bottom of the market. This was very sudden, though. I mean, it was very quick. I don't think anybody saw this coming quite this quick. There were rumors coming into last week and that Iran was going to invade Israel or attack Israel, not invade, but attack Israel. I think that's what caused this more than any of the economic numbers. And the VIX spike suggests that people bought a lot of put protection, and that means that the market's probably protected for a bit. And now the VIX is back to 20.37. So we're getting the bounce in the market that we are, because when the VIX spikes like that, that's what happens. So some people probably flushed out, and that's what it is, but whatever. Advanced decline ratio on the New York was both ways. Obviously very negative on Monday, but positive a couple days in the week, and it is what it is. The trend closes at the 10-day moving average is at 1.10. That's well above the 0.85 blue line that we need to see it above. Otherwise, you get a sell signal on the broad market. We did have one low close this week, but nothing special. And then here's the ES. So this is the ES front month futures contract in 10-minute candles. So the far left is the last Friday. So then the big gap down on Monday that spooked everybody, right? And then we bounced. And then Tuesday we bounced. And then Wednesday we bounced but sold off a bit. And then Thursday we bounced. And then Friday we bounced. And at the end of the day, I think we pretty much lost like a point on the S&P for the week. It really didn't matter. So we're shaking off all this. NASDAQ 100 also closing exactly where it was last Friday. So nothing happened. Volume on the NASDAQ was decent, pretty heavy. Obviously heavier on Monday with the big collapse, 6.8 billion shares. It's more like 6.2 for the most of the rest of the week. So good volume, but most of it positive, not negative. People have to understand that. Even though we gapped down on Monday. Apple, lost a little bit this week, but not much. Amazon, this one lost. Meta did not lose for the week. Google lost a little bit, but nothing special. It's off the highs. Goldman Sachs definitely got hit the last couple of, like Thursday, Friday last week, and then Monday, but then came back, and it's halfway back already, and that's halfway back to near highs. Netflix, these stocks are all going to, watch them all end up back up at highs. Netflix, whatever. It is what it is. Same story. Tesla, dead flat for the week. Really wasn't affected much by the market. Nvidia, also dead flat. This one's the one that's overvalued, in my opinion. But it did kind of tip off of the static trend line. That's the red line. Zoom near lows. First Solar near lows. But you could get a 13 buy signal on First Solar here pretty quickly without even trying. So we'll see what happens here. But, nothing special. In terms of economic data coming out in the week ahead, Monday, no data here in the U.S. at all. Tuesday, the PPI number will come out, expected at 0.2%. We'll see what that means. We got Fed members speaking. New Zealand has their rate announcement overnight. That's not going to affect the world. We've got the CPI on Wednesday. That's a big number at 8:30. Again, expected at 0.2%. But as long as that's the number, 0.2%, it's not going to hurt the market. It means inflation is basically done. Crude oil inventories at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Nothing else. And then on Thursday, data retail sales at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. The weekly initial and continuing jobless claims, Empire State Manufacturing, Philly Fed, and import-export prices. That's all at 8:30. Capacity utilization and industrial production at 9:15. Business inventories and the housing market index at 10. Natty gas at 10:30. And then on Friday, housing starts and building permits at 8:30. And preliminary University of Michigan sentiment at 10. So that's kind of the week. It's not a very big week, but the CPI number is obviously a big deal. So we shall see what we get. Obviously, there's election issues. There's the situation in Iran and Israel and what's going to go on there, and if there's something to happen. And that type of stuff is what's going to affect the market. When we get past Labor Day, obviously, the market's going to start to do something. Typically, we head down heading into the October, where what's supposed to be Congress making a budget for next year. That doesn't usually happen much anymore. So that's why a lot of the collapses happen in October as the money shifts. But we'll see if that happens or not. Might not be a big deal. Might be a big deal. And then obviously the election behind it. But we're almost done with summer. A couple weeks left. And just to look at the calendar and let you know. So nothing for the next 2-3 weeks. The next 3 weeks are full weeks. Then after that, we've got Labor Day on Monday, September 2nd. So that's a holiday. That's usually after that is when things, like I said, pick up. And then you've got some free run for a while. You've eventually got Veterans Day and all these other things, and then Thanksgiving and Christmas. And we're ways off from all that. So we'll see how it works. Charts as usual brought to you by NinjaTrader. If you've not yet taken a trial of our services, feel free to do so. We will help you out for a couple weeks. Have a great trading weekend.